Well, good morning. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Hang Out with Coach Kerry. Actually, Kerry with some laryngitis this morning. But when you're in small business, of course, the show must go on. So I just want to welcome you to this episode. And I'm going to ask you a question. Are you a solo entrepreneur, service provider? You might call yourself a small business owner that is wondering whether there's an opportunity here to enter into another niche into your business. Another area of specialty, another area of focus. And when should you do it? Should you do it? Really good question. And I think this was actually posed by one of my audience members who sent me an email and said, this is a question I'd like to have answered. And I think it's a really good one. And in fact, I hear it quite regularly. So I'm really grateful that she asked that question. So today, we're going to hopefully answer that. I can unpack that for you and give you some ideas on what steps you might take if you're going to, or really start doing the analysis of whether you should do that or not. So again, today, stay to the end of the episode because we're going to give you lots of great tips and strategies. And please make sure that you share these episodes with your colleagues and other people that you think might find the content of value. And you can find 48 other episodes. This one isn't up there yet on hangoutwithcoachkerry.com, as you can see right below. If you're watching this on video, it's spelled Kerry. And the website is hangoutwithcoachkerry.com if you're listening to this on audio. So today I have two VIP panelists with me today who are going to ask me some questions about this particular topic and hopefully ask you questions that you might be asking. So Bonnie Mitchell, why don't you tell us about you first, and then we'll hear from Dan, and then I'll have you start the questions.
Great. Thank you, Kerry. Good morning. I'm Bonnie Mitchell, and I am the owner of a boutique graphic design company, Mitchell Creative, and I help businesses worldwide increase their sales and revenue by creating effective marketing material that supports their brand image, and their company's message. So, as I like to tell people, your brand appeal is a big deal. I ensure consistency across all their marketing material to create a quickly recognizable brand that speaks to their target audience. And I can be found at bonniemitchell.ca.
Great, thanks, Bonnie. And Dr. Diana, over to you.
Thank you, Kerry. I'm Dr. Diana Galbraith. I'm the CEO and founder of First Get Healthy. And what I do is I work with those women who have invested so much time and energy into their health, into their business, into their kids, into their family, whatever it is, and often at the expense of their own health. And so what I do is I really help them come up with a plan and a way that they can get that health back, and might involve losing some weight and just getting their energy back. And I do it in a way that really fits with their busy lifestyle, because I know we're all busy and on the go, and so it's got to be something that's doable. You can find me at www.onestgethealthy.com.
Great. And Diana, did you happen to mention that you are a doctor as well? Is that the first important piece?
Yes, I'm a former family physician, and I also have 7 children of my own and 1 grandchild. So. Yes, so you can relate. I can relate to most situations, yes.
Yeah, great. Excellent, thank you. All right, so Bonnie, what's your question for me today?
Well, I know that we've talked about niches in past episodes, but I'm actually wondering if you can just remind me and expand on the meaning of what a niche is in your business.
Great. And I'm going to kind of back up for a little bit, because this is really about marketing, and it's defining who your specific audience is, who that person is that you are writing all of your marketing materials, that you are tailoring your products and services for, who that is, that particular customer or client that is looking for a solution to a problem they have, and you happen to have that. So I know it sounds counterintuitive. Most of us think let's cast as wide a net as we can and see if we can get as much business as we can. But if you were a fisherman or a fisher person, I guess today, and you were going out and you were going to go buy a boat to go fishing, and you were a commercial fisherman, so you're in that industry, Would you buy a boat that would be good for halibut fishing? Would you buy a boat that would be good for salmon fishing? Would you buy a boat that would be good for trout? Well, I mean, what other kinds of? I mean, you're going to buy a boat that's going to be specific for the type of fish that you want to get, because it's going to have the ability to be able to travel long distances if you're going to have to go to that for your fish is a long distance away. If it's a bottom fish, it's going to need a different kind of way to get the fish than if you have a top swimming fish. So exactly the same thing with your business is that, I know it sounds, what the product or service that you have could likely be used by anyone in the marketplace. I mean, maybe unless it's specifically a gender-specific product or service. But the fact of the matter is that not everyone's looking for the solution for you. And watch yourself when you are reading magazines or newspaper articles where you see ads in them, even radio and television, and which ones catch your attention. And I suspect most of the ones that will catch your attention, or at least resonate with you, are ones that are speaking to you specifically. They talk about a problem that you have, that you've been thinking about, and you've been looking for the solution for it. And that's what's called niching your marketplace. Now, you can have a couple of different niches. However, what I'm going to say is that anytime you're doing any marketing, you want to speak to a specific niche. So that if you're out in a networking or evening, for an example, you don't want to say, I deal with this, 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 and this, and this. First of all, that's not going to help them see whether there's a fit with what you have or not. But it's also not going to help them think about somebody else who might need what your product or service is. So you want to really narrow it down. So a particular networking organization or place where that niche audience is, then you're going to use that particular elevator speech or your pitch that you're going to. The same thing in terms of anything you're going to do in print media. Is your audience watching or reviewing or reading that particular medium? So you really want to niche it down, and you want to get it so close that you can create what I'm going to call an avatar for them. And what I mean by that is, what are the demographics? So, where do they live? Where, all of that. What are the psychographics? What are the things that they like to do? What are the things that are important to them? So that when you speak to them, it resonates with them. In addition to that, it's going to help with all your branding. And of course, I know, Bonnie, this is an important thing that you deal with clients, is because if you're just trying to create something that's very generic, it's not going to resonate with anyone. So just for an example, if you happen to be a realtor who wants to deal with a young, sort of urban market, probably the first-time buyers or maybe second going into condominiums, then your look is going to have a very sort of modern feel to it. And if you're going to have backgrounds in it, it's going to have condominiums that are going to have quite a modern feel to it. You might be sitting on a modern sofa or love seat, and the clothing that you're going to wear is going to look that way. And then the languaging you use is going to message directly to them. You're going to use their language. Where if you happen to be a person who's a financial advisor, for an example, and you're dealing with a marketplace that's more senior, and they're looking at retirement, having enough money to retire, making sure that their savings actually are protected. If you're actually looking at an older generation, then you're going to use that kind of language in your marketing, and you're going to show pictures of people that are going to be older. You're going to show, the furniture around is going to be maybe more traditional. Again, all of that is so that when you are using any marketing medium, it's going to resonate with them specifically. And then you want to ask yourself, of this particular ideal avatar, so their demographics, geographics, and psychographics, you want to get really clear, what is that age range? So it's specific in that whenever you are speaking to them, they immediately say, oh, they're speaking to me. And this would be the same if you happen to be a graphic designer as you are, Bonnie. The same thing with you, Dr. Diana, for you. You're clear on who that avatar is, because then you're really clear on the imaging, all of that. If you look behind Diana, for an example, her banner has a picture of a mom with 2 children that are there. And, that's the ideal. So people are thinking, what's their problem? They want to feel healthy. They want to be able to play with their kids. So she's determined that that's her avatar, and that's the age range. So people are going to resonate with that image that they have there. So, and again, why do we do it? Because when a message resonates with us, when you've identified the problem that I have, that I've been thinking about, maybe even laying awake at night worrying about it, then I'm going to be more motivated to pick up the phone, to send you an email, to respond, to take action about that. Where if I'm looking through a magazine or I meet you at a networking event and you say something and it doesn't resonate with me, well then there's really no reason for me to be in touch with you. Which is why I wish, of course, that all of our prospective clients, the people who had that problem, had an orange cone on top of their head. Wouldn't that be great? Because then we wouldn't have to try and sift through it. We wouldn't have to try and identify who is our niche. It would just automatically be there. But the fact of the matter is we have to do that so that we know specifically who it is that will benefit from what we have, and that what the solution you're providing will resonate with them. So Bonnie, I hope that was a good review and a reminder. I know you guys have heard me many times about this, but I think that sometimes it's always good to have a reminder about these fundamentals when it comes to business. Is making sure is who is your ideal customer? You know, what do they want? What do they need? And then being really clear. Did that answer the question for you, Bonnie?
It did, actually, and more. So thank you very much, Kerry.
Great. Excellent. Good. Okay, Dr. Diana, what do you have for me today?
Well, I'd like to know when you should consider looking at a different, opening up your niche. So is it when your business is down, when it's up, when you're busy, when you're not busy? I mean, some of the things we kind of think there's an obvious answer, but I just want clarity on that, when you should look at opening up your niche, expanding it. Great question, because I see this all the time. And then sometimes I have to go back in and kind of do a bit of what I call damage control with clients. Because here's often what happens is that you're happily moving along with your area of business. And let's assume that for a lot of people, we'd always like more business. So what happens is that another potential niche shows up on your radar. Somebody says to you, oh, I need this, or do you offer this? Especially that's often what happens. Do you offer this? And you go, oh, I don't, but maybe I should do that. And off we go and we do that. You know, I've seen so many people do that. So now their focus is diversified. They've gone after a particular niche in a marketplace because there's been a request and there's no real plan put in place to determine whether that is or not valuable. So here's what I would say is, you know, when's a good time to do it? Well, I would say when the area of focus that you have right now, you at least know that you're getting you figured out how to get customers or clients from that. You know how to service them. You've got your systems and procedures in place, and then now you can take your focus off and look at something else, because it definitely will be taking your focus off. So when that's in place, then I'm going to say this, and then and only then do you really have to do a bit of a strategic plan around that. So again, what's the vision for that particular niche? What's the marketplace for it? You know, what would be some goals around it? And then you need to do some research. Do that SWOT analysis that I talked about, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Because just because somebody's come along and, you know, knocked on your door or phoned you or sent you an email, or maybe even two people, doesn't mean that there's necessarily a market opportunity for you there for you to be able to capitalize on. So you want to find out else who is playing in that particular marketplace. What do you need to provide to be different in that marketplace? Is there an opportunity to be different? Is there enough of a demand? And how much in terms of your resources is it going to take in order to go into that other marketplace? So remember I talk about two kinds of resources, your time and your money. Because you've hopefully mastered your marketing message for your current niche that you're working in, then now you're going to have to create a new marketing message that is going to resonate with that marketplace as well. So all of those questions are going to have to answer. And then how are you going to actually expand that? Because again, just because that particular opportunity came along, and it might be a good amount of money, for an example, then for you to actually make that another niche, now you're going to have a whole system in place for marketing to those people, to actually converting them into customers. So that's having a sales process for that particular niche, because chances are their buying habits are going to be different. Then you're going to have a whole customer service process for them, because they may have different needs in the marketplace than your original one. I suspect they will if we're talking about a different niche. So how are you going to serve them? How are you going to provide what they need in the marketplace? And then how are you going to administer all of that? You know, all of those pieces
it's like you're creating a separate arm to your business, and it has to be viable on its own. So kind of going back and kind of unpacking that again for you. So it's always really tempting when we hear someone, especially when we're a solo entrepreneur and a service provider, and we come from a place of wanting to provide for everyone, but yes, okay, we've narrowed our niche, we understand that, that's where our market is, and then we hear this opportunity, or this opportunity is facing us. Then what we have to do is say, okay, is my core business right now, the core niche I have, in good enough state that I can actually lose some focus on it and go over here? Then if the answer is yes, that is in its good enough state so I can go over here, then you have to do all the research. So then you might be asking the question, okay, but what if my core business isn't generating what I want to? And what if my marketing messages aren't resonating? And what if I have a lot of money that I want to make, and right now I'm not doing that, and I'm not able to serve the quantity of clients that I want with this particular niche? Okay, well then let's go back in and have a look at that particular niche again. This is part of, again, strategic planning. And look at it and say, are there initiatives that maybe are, that are there that you've not actually implemented yet? Have you actually exhausted every single thing? Have you kind of wrung out every single piece from that particular niche? And if the answer is yes, that you have, then there is a case again for looking at another niche, because remember, part of when you create an initial business plan for your business is doing regular strategic planning, because you're checking in on that niche that you're currently working with. You're asking yourself, is the market increasing? Is it decreasing? What are the opportunities that are there? What are the things? What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Are there opportunities I could explore that I'm not in it? So if you've done all of that and you come to the place where this niche is falling short of what your needs and your expectations are, then you can go and look at another niche as well. So that's, again, when things aren't really humming really well and you want to have a look at another one. And when you do that, and to do that, again, you start from the beginning and you do a strategic plan around that. You start with what your vision is for that particular niche. You start with your goals, short-term year goals. Then you look at what your current reality is with that. And that might be current reality is I only have one client or one potential client who said they want this particular service that I have, and they're a different niche than the other. And you're going to do all of that all over again, like you do every single time. So if you have 2 or 3 niches in your business, you want to be doing 3 kind of plans for them regularly, to be checking in to make sure if they're actually moving forward in the way that you want to. Are you getting the response that you want? Do you need to do some research in that area to maybe determine maybe the niche isn't what you thought it was, or maybe there's something that's changed in it quite dramatically in the last few months that will make a difference. I mean, we all know that we respond when we're in pain in our marketplace. So, maybe there's a seasonality to your business. So there's an opportunity for you to explore a niche that's at a different time of the season. So you have a strong season for this particular niche and another season for this particular niche. I know a client of mine in my one-on-one coaching, they're in a business that's very fueled by people's perception of natural disasters. So if they hear something on the radio or they hear something, a concern that happens, well then, their phones ring. So it's how to be able to educate people so there's a more evenness in their business, because what we really don't want to have is every week having a national disaster in the news. That would not be a thing to rely on in terms of a marketing message. So I know I kind of gave you a couple of different scenarios there, Diana. Do you need any more clarity on that, or did I explain that in fully for you?
No, I think that was very good. That was very, very thorough. Thank you.
Okay, great, good. So what I'm going to do now is just go back to you, Bonnie, and see if that raised a question for you, or if not a question that you want some further information on, maybe what your aha from today is. So either of those two.
Well, I do have another question revolving around niches, and one question that comes to mind is how different or how complementary should that second niche be to your first one?
Great question. Well, if you recall, I mentioned a few moments ago that you have to look at your time and your resources. As complementary as it is, it's going to be less of a shift for you in terms of your, how you deliver maybe the product, how you communicate with them, how you actually convert them, your marketing messages. As totally different as they are, it's going to require even greater of those resources to be able to do that. So really your question is, again, if you do your research and there's one that's quite complementary to it, that would seem logical, but you need to make sure that there's a market for it. One that's quite divergent from that, it's going to require more of your resources, your focus, your attention. And when you're scattered, often what can happen, we take our eye off the ball, then our first niche starts to suffer. So again, really look at that and ask do that strategic planning around that particular niche. And then I think the answer should become self-evident to you when you flush out what your strategies are. How divergent are they going to be? Did that help?
Yes, that does.
Good. Okay, great. Good. Diana, any other questions that came out of today for you or an aha for you?
Well, this may be a little more involved question and might even be another topic, but just the pros and cons of expanding your niche versus expanding your services within your existing niche, when you should do one, when you should do the other. And again, I'm not sure this is a 2-minute answer, so it might be onto another talk, but that was what came to my mind.
Okay. Well, I think I can address it sort of from an overview question, and really the answer is that when you're looking at what your current niche is, your core focus right now is there the opportunity to be able to grow within that? In other words, does that marketplace right now have a need for other products and services? Is there a demand? Depending upon what product or service people are providing, is there a logical flow that you'd offer them this, and you'd offer them this, and you'd offer them this, and you'd offer them this? And if that's the case, if there's an opportunity for that, I stay within that niche because you already know it, you're already speaking to it, you've already built a tribe around that, you've got people that are following you, that like the products and services that you offer. So I would stay within that. But again, it comes back to a regular strategic plan so that you actually can see, are there opportunities that are missing in there? Are there initiatives that you could be doing that you aren't, and one of them might be to offer this new product or service to this group because it logically flows from the one that you've already offered. So I think that's a great topic that we could probably expand on that for another hangout. But did that answer your question for you, Diana?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. Excellent. Well, everyone, given the fact that my voice is probably at its maximum for today, the show did go on. I think we got some great material and some great questions from my VIP panelists. I want to thank them today, and thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. So remember, you can find me a couple of different places at hangoutwithcoachkerry.com. You can find me on Facebook at Kerry Brown Coach, and on Google Plus as well at Hangout with Coach Kerry. And I've got a small business community there, Kerry Brown Small Business Community. Come and join me there and network and share some of your insights from our episodes as well. So lots of ways to interact with me. Please give me your feedback. Maybe your topic might be one I cover on an upcoming episode. And please plan to join us 9 a.m. Pacific on my 52nd episode. That will be my year birthday. Yay! Yeah, one year anniversary of my Hangouts. And so I hope that what I offer you on these episodes is tips and strategies, inspiration and motivation to get your week kick-started and make a difference in your business, because that's what I'm all about. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to be able to do that. Again, share this episode if you liked it with other people that you know, so I can get my message out to even more people out there in the marketplace. So thanks everybody, and have an awesome week. I look forward to talking to you next Monday, same time. Bye-bye.